anger closes the flow of God's love to you. But if you have love and trust in the Holy Spirit or the Ek, then the love of God will flow to you just the way water flows from a faucet. She was asking herself, why couldn't she knit this pattern that she was so familiar with? And then she realized that she didn't really want to knit the sweater because she wasn't putting her love into it. And then again she understood that if you want something to work, whether it's the spiritual exercises or a project at work or a relationship or anything else, you've got to put your love into it.
Soul wants just more than survivor. The soul wants truth. It wants connection. The soul wants to feel alive spiritually. You know what I'm realizing? Sometimes divine love doesn't change every problem immediately, but it changes the way you carry life. You begin reacting differently, seeing things differently, and you begin feeling things more deeply. And one day you just realize that you are no longer the person you used to be. Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my Journey Faithful Compassion Hub. My name is Beatrice. This is a space where we reflect on spiritual growth, healing, divine love, dreams, life experiences, and the deeper meanings behind the things we go through in life. On this journey, I also share the spiritual insights and lessons I've been learning through the teachings of Eckankar in a simple, heartfelt, and relatable way. This is not about forcing beliefs. It's about opening conversations that helps us reflect more deeply about ourselves, life, and spiritual journeys. And even if you have never heard about these teachings, you are still welcome here. Now, let's listen to a talk by Harold Klemp and let's reflect together with an open heart.
We have the greatest gift there is, and this is the gift of life. And what we do from there on is up to us. What do we do with it? So this initiate was trying to have more success with her spiritual exercises, and so she went into contemplation. She did an imaginative technique, and basically this is a way of shutting your eyes, and you imagine something happening. You imagine some scene where you're going to meet with the inner master. The inner master is the Mahanta, or the counterpart of myself in the dream world or in the other worlds. And the person who's doing this imaginative exercise tries to make it an interesting experience of some kind, something that is comfortable, peaceful, serene, if possible, because you want this exercise to work and you want to get rid of the problem of fear. And so she saw herself in a park, sitting on a bench, and a man came up, and she couldn't see his face, but she knew it was the master. She had picked some daffodils, and she handed them to the Mahanta, and he in turn held open a little box, and from it he took a key pendant. It was like a key, a large key that you might wear around your neck. And the part where you put your hand on the key was the EK symbol. And on the other end that goes into the lock and opens it, the blade, I suppose, on this end were formed the words love. In other words, Ek opens the lock to love. So she had this experience and she says, okay, I've got to open my heart to love, because then again I will have success with my spiritual exercises. Shortly after that, she had a dream. She and several of her friends who were Ek initiates went into a washroom just to freshen up. They went in there and a doctor came in behind them. He was very angry, very impatient. He went to a sink turned the water on, but the tap was dry. He became angry with the women. He said, "You've broken the faucet." And they just stood there, and one of the Eckas in this dream went up to the faucet and turned it on. And the water came flowing out. And someone then said, "That is the way of Ek." In other words, the lesson here was that anger closes the flow of God's love to you. But if you have love and trust in the Holy Spirit or the Ek, then the love of God will flow to you just the way water flows from a faucet. So now this was the second experience she had. And the third one came in something we call the golden-tongued wisdom, which is a blending of the inner truths with an outer experience of some kind, some everyday thing that you're doing. Now this woman was knitting a sweater for an expected grandchild in the family. And this woman had knitted this pattern for over 40 years, and she knew it by heart. But she didn't really want to do another sweater. She had made so many of these. And as she knitted, she would make mistakes, and then she'd have to pull the threads and go back and start over. And she wondered, what is wrong? You know, she was asking herself, why couldn't she knit this pattern that she was so familiar with? And then she realized that she didn't really want to knit the sweater because she wasn't putting her love into it. And then again she understood that if you want something to work, whether it's the spiritual exercises or a project at work or a relationship or anything else, you've got to put your love into it.
Sometimes the biggest changes in our lives don't happen loudly. They happen quietly. So quietly such that many people miss them. Sometimes we may think nothing is happening in our lives. No sign, no answer, no life experience. But what if that silence is part of the process? This is something many people struggle with without realizing it. We live in a world that teaches us that if something is important, it must be loud. Big miracles, instant answers, fast success. But inner growth doesn't work that way. The soul grows quietly, and sometimes while you think nothing is happening, you're actually becoming something new inside. Many people are emotionally tired. They smile outside, but the inside is searching for something meaningful, for peace, searching for something real. Sometimes the pain is not because life is empty. It's because soul wants just more than survivor. The soul wants truth. It wants connection. The soul wants to feel alive spiritually. You know what I'm realizing? Sometimes divine love doesn't change every problem immediately, but it changes the way you carry life. You begin reacting differently, seeing things differently, and you begin feeling things more deeply. And one day you just realize that you are no longer the person you used to be. That quiet transformation may actually be one of the greatest spiritual experiences of all. If you're watching this and something inside of you feels calm right now, or emotionally or strangely connected to this, don't ignore that. Because sometimes soul recognizes the truth before the minds fully understand it. And maybe that quiet feeling inside of you now is the beginning of becoming more spiritual awake. I think many people are spiritual hungry, but they don't have words for it yet. They feel there must be more to life than stress, fear, routines, and survival. And that quiet search inside of you might not be weakness. It might be soul trying to remember something deeper. Thank you for reflecting with me. If this resonates with you, please don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe for more spiritual reflections, healing conversations, and deeper insights we can continue exploring together. And thank you for being here. May the light and sound of God guide your path. I love you all.